And we are live. We don't have Mo today on the stream to give us some guidance on the audio, so I'm gonna have to rely on the chat to just let us know how the audio is and whether we are good or not. But I hope everyone is doing well. How's everyone doing this morning? Hope everyone is doing well. Mo, if you are in the chat, just give us a little bit of an update as to how the audio is sounding. Glorious CPI day. Is it CPI though? I don't know. I'm gonna check right now.
It's the Euro CPI.
Oh, Euro CPI. Good morning. Sounds crisp. Thanks so much, Mo. MGI, thanks so much. MGI has been a stalwart in the chat as of late. Very good to see familiar guys on the stream. With that, guys, let's quickly look at what we've got going on for the calendar today. So quite a bit of Euro news coming out. So we've got German CPI, no, not CPI, that's IPI. 11 o'clock, we've got some sentiment index stuff coming out of the Eurozone, and then we've got German CPI, obviously a big part of the European economy, that's coming out at 2 o'clock this afternoon. And then also another big stack of data for the US. We've got ADP, employment change. That's obviously ADP is a third-party stats provider that basically almost provides stats for Friday. So a lot of times they are in line, and then a lot of times they are quite out with their forecast or their analysis of it. So I think it's going to be a good day, guys. A lot of news coming out, a lot of volatility. That's obviously what we want. So I do think there's going to be opportunities today. So after yesterday's news, obviously it's showing a slowdown in the US economy, which is good. That's ultimately what the Fed wants, and that is why you saw this massive rejection on the daily candle. And a little bit later we're going to look at the Fed futures. I think we mentioned the Fed futures on Monday, and I'm actually quickly going to just get it up before we start. We've got enough time before the open, so just want to go to the Fed futures quickly and show you why we saw that massive move on the dollar and on gold. So remember Monday we talked about the potential of further rate hikes. So obviously September 20th already in the bag, that the market is expecting no rate hike for September 20th. And now all of a sudden, remember if you go back to the previous week, guys were starting to expect a potential rate hike. This 5.5 to 5.75 base range was sitting more or less even to the 5.25. So all of a sudden the market is starting to reprice now that there's going to be no further rate hikes for this year. As you can see here, 5.25, that is where we're currently at. So the market is starting to price in no more rate hikes for the rest of the year, and at one stage last week they were trying to price in further rate hikes. So getting straight into a DXY, yesterday closing bearish. We had a gap down, we filled that gap. It is a weekly pivot level. No bottom wick on this daily candle. We can however push all the way back up to the weekly pivot and still continue down bearish. Only thing is that I do not necessarily like is that we are trading into a prior support area, and this area I would definitely say would need to be monitored, the weekly S1. And I think if we can get a daily closure something like this today, it is going to be very easy going into Thursday. But we are bearish on the day, and for some context as to where we are on the day, I'm just going to jump to the 5-minute. We've already taken out the Asia highs. We are trading below the moving averages. We are trading below the daily pivot. And I would say for further bearish continuation, ideally we would want to see some rejections at London Open at these highs, Asia high. I don't want to see us go back above it or stay above it. I want to see us reject that level for bearish continuation. USDT yesterday, very nice, strong, bullish daily close. Remember the weekly, we are still potentially bearish. Also, as I've mentioned at the start of the week, I'm going to give it one more week to see if we can regain this level, and that is potentially what we are doing. There's still the potential to flip bearish, but I'm just trading what I see. And yesterday we were bullish due to the fact that we had that small resistance break there. Now we still have some room to the upside, 35.050. And on the 5-minute time frame, let's quickly look at what we've got going on the 5-minute time frame. So accumulation distribution, very nicely positioned bullish. I would love if we can get some type of pullback to the daily pivot before NYSE or at NYSE, but currently trading at the Asia lows. I do think if we hold Asia lows, we can go and retest the Asia highs. But for me, ideal buys would be close to the daily pivot right here. And if we can pull all the way back down there, I will be looking for buys later today. Same with Nasdaq, also very nice bullish close yesterday. Let me just go to the daily. Very nice bullish close, closed above this previous area of resistance. Let me just show this to you guys. Very nice close there. Only thing is we have already traded into this previous resistance area. So how deep do we pull back to grab liquidity to come and try again? Or are we going to find some type of resistance there? But on the day, I am bullish. I'm not going to look for sells while my accumulation distribution is trading so strongly bullish. I would, however, say not even all the way down to the pivot, but if we can get a pullback down to this level right here, I will be considering buys. Hopefully we don't get it running away early today in the session and we can start making our way back down, entice fresh buying from there, and then take it back up to the session highs. GBP USD, myself and Keeks were talking about it this morning. I feel this is easier buy than the rest, and the reason for that is we closed back inside of this range. If you look left with me, this was a previous area of support. We closed below there, failed to continue lower. Yesterday's candle took out Monday's low, perfect. That is an ideal scenario, as you can see right there, took out the low. And what I want to see now is for price to continue bullish all the way up as a minimum to 126.75. And then ultimately, if we can close above this level today or tomorrow, we can potentially even see a pushback up into this range right here. So bullish on the day for me. I think it is going to be relatively straightforward. Let me not say nothing in trading is ever really 100% straightforward, but I am looking for buys. The ideal buys were off the daily pivot right here. But again, my accumulation distribution is still pointing up. As you can see here, still pointing bullish. Currently trading below, so I'm just going to wait for that to flip bullish a little bit later in the session, either after the open or I would say about an hour into it. So two levels where I'll be potentially buying from is the weekly pivot. The other one is the daily pivot. If we pull back to this 126.20, and I will be primarily looking for buys on this pair. Gold, massive move yesterday. Keeks didn't even get a chance to move his TP. His TP got hit almost instantly. That is why that man is smiling like that. That is most probably the best feeling in trading, when you enter a position and within minutes or seconds your TP gets hit. With that being said, massive candle. You guys know that I like to trade close to resistance breaks or support breaks. for instance, I like trading around an area where support was formed and you get a break, because I feel that is the origin of the move. And yesterday we had this support break as well, and that is the origin of the move. Gold, don't get me wrong, can continue bullish for the rest of today, tomorrow, and potentially reverse Friday. But my big thing now is, how deep are we going to pull back? Are we going to pull back, say, today and tomorrow, and then Friday continue bullish? That is not up to me, but on the day I am bullish. I'm looking for some type of pullback into this 1930. I would say this is our ideal area, and I'm going to show you now on the 5 minute as well why I say that is the ideal area for us to get into some type of long. So that is at the daily pivot 1930, and I would say ideally if we can get some type of pullback back to this level, then you can reconsider buys going back up. I wouldn't necessarily sell into this. If you look at your accumulation distribution, very nice upward trajectory. So gold, primarily buys. If you want to do risky sells, that's up to you, but for me personally, buys at the daily pivot. We are still trading within this Asia range, and I would say wait for some type of pullback, and I would say the lower probability buys are going to be above the Asia highs. The question you need to ask yourself is, as a trader, is how much liquidity is left in this move? When are traders and institutions going to start to take some type of profit off the table? So after you've made this new high, there's a lot of imbalance in price here, so becomes tricky. We can consolidate in this area right here for a move out of it, but 1930, I think you're getting a fair deal then to try longs. GJ yesterday, let me just show you guys what we had on GJ. So remember, we are bearish on the week. GJ yesterday coming to retest this previous area of support. We mentioned on Monday this is some type of topping pattern, a failure to continue higher. So I am bearish on the day. Tuesday's candle took out Monday's high, closed bearish. While we stay below yesterday's high and not take it out, I will remain bearish on this pair. Only thing is, if you go down to the 5 minute, I just want to show you guys what we've got on the 5 minute is we are still currently bullish on our 80. So I cannot sell this while we are bullish on the accumulation distribution. So something to monitor. Nothing as of yet. Also trading above the weekly pivot, so let's see what we do at the open, whether we come all the way back, start flipping bearish on the 80, retest that weekly pivot level to continue down, or whether we are actually going to break yesterday's resistance and continue up. So for me, line in the sand, I would say 3 levels really. Weekly pivot right there, Asia highs, and the daily pivot. So these are 3 levels that I will monitor, and in line with what my accumulation distribution is telling me. So that is what I'll be doing on that. USD JPY bearish on the day. Just want to show you guys this. Very nice, taking out Monday's high, bearish engulfing candle, failure to continue higher, coming back into this range right here. Remember, we mentioned this range. So daily bias for me is bearish. I want to actually see us trade back into this range all the way back down to 144.80. And on the 5 minute chart, let me just see how we can execute on this. So the 80 is chopping a little bit, but it is starting to show signs of weakness. It is starting to come down, currently trading above. And what I would want to see at the open is us starting to trade back below the 200. And from there, if we start trading below the 200, I want to see us reject the daily pivot level. This is our daily pivot. So I don't mind if we push up into the zone and then come back in to the Asia range, reject the pivot level right here, and that is where I will be taking my sells. That is the idea I've got. Yes.
What is half a Batman?
Half a Batman, now tell me.
I don't know, it's in the chat, that's why I'm asking. Alright.
Half a Batman at the top on.
I have no clue yet.
Morning guys. Morning Jeremy. Sipo, morning everyone. Yeah, cheers. Having a coffee. Jerian, what I see is a fair value gap on the 15 minutes. Sorry Jerian, what pair are you referring to? Then we can quickly have a look at it.
I actually wanted to say that now, just in future as well. Whenever pointing out a certain thing, please also mention the pair so that we know what to look at.
Justin, good morning. Half a bat. I think he's talking to like a bat pattern. I think I know what he's referring to. It's this pattern here. I don't know if you can see. I think, I don't know. Like, yeah, that's. So I think he's referring to being half a bat pattern is maybe it didn't move like this. So he's expecting like this leg down. Jerian, am I correct in stating that you're talking about the...
Well, he says it's on gold.
The bat pattern. I don't look. I've delved into these patterns, not with much success. For instance, I would see a bat pattern like this, and it's within a 3 wave. This is more like Elliott wave stuff, and I'm buying here. And you obviously know what happened. It's almost like that video I sent to Keegan on Instagram. I buy here, does something like this, boom, clapped. And then I tell myself, shit, but this is maybe a deep bat. I enter there, it's like the deep bat pattern. And you obviously know what happens. Something like this. Okay. So I don't know if you've had success on the bat pattern, keep using it. But for me, the bat pattern has only caused trauma.
I think what Jaden is referring to is the half Batman taught by Steve Morrow. It goes back to what I said, like also what Chris just said. The success of certain of these patterns, like, you know, it worked for some time, but like, you know, the markets and things have changed.
Look, markets don't really change. That's the thing. Markets only really, Idris, good morning. Markets only do 2 things: expand, contract, expand, contract, reverse. And the issue is where the majority, and then also remember guys, you've got primary market structure, and then you've got secondary market structure. This is also where guys get killed. You get secondary market structure. And what I mean by that is, let's say for instance you're trading a pair. The primary market structure could be bullish, and you could partake in this move up. You potentially in this move, and where you get messed up is once we go into secondary market structure. After the market has made an extension, it can go into a period of either consolidation, or it can go into a period of correcting that move. So basically it's trading bearish, but the overall primary market structure is still bullish, and this is where guys get caught out. And whether it pulls back to some type of fair value gap, if that is what you trade, or like to a 618 or a 50% or whatever it is, this is still secondary market structure happening here. And it's not a flag, but I'm just pointing out, let me not do that. and you get the same happening within a session. For instance, for the most part, you can get something like USD JPY. We can now currently see that there's a lot of bearish momentum coming into the market, and this pushing up could be secondary market structure for us to basically continue on with this move that we had right here. So price can pull back. Price can pull back even all the way up to here. Then with the expectation that we will then come to retest yesterday's low and to potentially break it to continue lower to fill this range that I've got here at 144.80. I hope that makes sense.
Just want to find out there, because Jaron says he's holding a sell on gold. I just want to find out, so what area did you sell from?
Jaron, let's look at gold. Totally understand. Currently in my strike zone for gold, and I'm holding sell, so I'll keep you guys posted on it. I think maybe it took these Asia highs when it started topping out here, perhaps.
Yeah, I think Asia highs is the most probable area to sell.
Alright guys, that is the analysis, and I'm just gonna set some alerts for us so we can start looking at, oh yeah, USD ZAR. I remember I was bearish on the week. Now again I'm bearish on the day, but similar to last week Thursday, actually Wednesday, we closed bearish, and I told you guys we closed bearish up against the support. Very similar. Could today be the day where we actually break the support and trade lower, but I am bearish on the day. On the 5 minute, let me just see if there's anything we can execute on. Accumulation distribution, I would say, is relatively neutral due to the fact that the EMA is flattening out, but in terms of the price, it is trading above, so tricky for sales. But let's see at the open. I think if we can start breaking back down below this daily pivot somewhere here, create some structure, break below that daily pivot, I would say sales from these Asia highs, and that daily pivot is something that I would consider. Actually gonna put an alert there, and then obviously just monitor how the spreads are looking. 51.10 daily pivot, and that is where I will execute from. And then GU, I'm gonna mark out the still bearish, that is very weird, on the 12620, and then also gonna set an alert at the weekly pivot 16425. that is the weekly pivot, so we've got all corners covered. And then USD JPY, like, so I just want to monitor this, want to keep this close. Already missed the trade on it yesterday. 146.35. I want to set alert. I would ideally want it to push up there. But it is Wednesday, guys. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope your trading's been going well this week. I've only had 2 break-even trades. Yesterday missed US City, wanted to buy at... Is my aircon on? I think it is. We'll just switch this off. Wanted to buy yesterday. For the guys that were joined on the stream yesterday, I ideally told the guys if we can just get like a 50% retrace on this 5-minute candle, which we never got. Price literally just skyrocketed, and ideally even if this candle closed something like this, breaking that structure right there, that would have been a nice buy. We didn't get it, but nonetheless, That is trading. No FOMO here, just following the plan and doing what we set out to do. Sorry guys, I just want to check this aircon quickly.
Yeah, guys, just keep in mind and remember that. Hey, also, like says, don't like the FOMO. You know, sometimes it sucks, but in the day, if money lost is still a lose. So when you're not losing money, if you didn't take a trade, that's still technically a win. Just on that note, Jevon, is there any setups that you're looking at for today?
Yes, I am, but Chris kind of covered the one I'm looking at on GU. Chris said that, just correct me if I'm wrong, Chris. You said that you're looking for sales on GU at the Asia highs, right?
Yeah, so just getting back to no, I'm actually I want to buy this.
You wanna buy it?
Yeah,
you wanna buy it?
So
okay.
So here's my thing on GU. I am bullish on the day, but in terms of my accumulation distribution, that's still trading below the 200. So I can't consider. I need this to come in line as well. So if we get back to the daily pivot and we start diverging on price, where my accumulation distribution is starting to make higher highs, but price is making lower lows, then I will consider something here. We can even pull all the way back down to, I would say, the 12610 or even a 12600. Yesterday's Asia high. But I am primarily looking for buys. You want to sell it, but you obviously trade a different.
Yeah, I just kind of thought that you're going short because I saw you marked out your Asia high. But if you go on the 15-minute chart quickly, you would see that there's a fair value gap at around 1 o'clock this morning. So once price taps into that, and also the order block, I would want to see price then first trade back into the Asia highs. So come back into the Asian range and then go back, giving a change of character with another fair value gap formed in a smaller time frame. And I'll consider going short towards the Asia lows, towards, I would say, the midpoint, or no, I would say to around, yeah, I would say midpoint of New York yesterday.
Yeah, you see, I want to buy, you want to sell here, so you're expecting some type of move down. So I want to actually buy this move up back into where you want to sell it.
You know, hey, this would be the perfect time for the daily wage.
Yo, yeah, this is actually a very good one. If there's contradicting analysis on the pairs, that would definitely be good. But yeah, like I mentioned, I would need something like this, otherwise I can't consider anything. I am bullish on the day, so
I think I might have confused it. What's the other pair you're looking at? I think Euro JPY.
No, UJ, I'm looking for potential sells.
Okay, on EJ, Euro JPY, also looking for sells based on that unmitigated order block on the 15-minute chart on the 22nd of August. There's also a fair value gap.
Sorry, I can't bring it up, Jeevan. It's something with something up with what I call it, trading
Yeah,
view.
Chris. But if you go like to that left side where you search, like if you have to physically type it in, then it does come up.
Oh, it doesn't come up.
Yeah.
Jeeve, let me just get it for you on the other side quickly.
All good, all good.
I think TradingView might be doing some type of update perhaps, but
Yeah, man, there's definitely not going to be any spoilers.
no spoilers on the daily wager. Let me just get... Okay, wait, let me try, search bar, let's quickly search Euro JPY. Alright, give it to us, J-Riz.
Okay, so 22nd of August, fair value gap, unmitigated order block that was formed in London session. So price traded more or less around that fair value gap. I didn't fill it. So I want price to break yesterday's highs and then trade into that unmitigated order block. I actually wanted to break the order block and tap 159,500, and then kind of a similar pattern. I want to see a pullback.
Sorry,
with a change of character.
Sorry, have we not already tapped into the order block after fair value gap? Just asking the question.
Yes, we have. I think now we have, but there's still an unmitigated order block, so I still want to see price push up a bit more. I would say about 50 pips, and then give a pullback, change of character, displacement for the fair value gap, then look to go short. But also, if none of that occurs, no setup.
Chef Rolly Shadari, good day Chris and all team, join late. What should I do to get notifications? We live stream every day on time, 8:30 till 11, so you can literally just join every day. We don't stream sporadically, like some days we do, some days we don't, so we try and hold ourselves to quite a strict schedule. And
I was just gonna say, but if he follows either of us, like on Instagram, I mean, when we post that we go in live on that timer, basically if he presses on that timer, it will notify him when we go live.
Sorry, but I'm actually talking nonsense. Chef Rolly, when you go onto the channel and you subscribe, there's a bell icon as well. So once you subscribe, click on the bell icon as well, and then you'll get notifications. Just let me know if that works, but if I'm not mistaken, that is it, the bell icon. All right, quite a bit of movement. Let's see if we can get something on GU and then something on UJ pushing up to that level. Still currently bullish. Let's wait for the pullback. Only about 15 pips above the Asia highs. Currently trading at the pivot. So I'm just gonna have it here on my side screen as well. I don't know if we've got Neil in the chat today. Neil, are you in the chat? Right, first rejections off Asia highs. I do think we can see something again where we maybe trade above it and come back below. And that's going to give us our Neil. Nice, Neil's in the chat. And I think that's what's potentially going to give us our setup.
Just also on what's the name, Jarian's trade on gold. I think it is just something to take note of. It's going to start moving nicely now, as obviously the dollar is testing Asia highs and gold is holding Asia lows. So they will be going to war at this point to see who's going to break. Yeah, Chris, and then Richard just asked if you could explain the sentiment on US30.
So the sentiment on US30 yesterday was bullish due to the fact that there's potential signs of the job market slowing in the US. And why would that be positive if the economy is slowing? Due to the fact that if the labor force, let's call it the labor market, is slowing down. Let me just use some abbreviations here. So the labor market, which we'll see on Friday, NFP, if that is dropping down, then obviously what's going to happen to consumer spend? There's going to be less jobs in circulation. So hourly earnings, let's call it HE, your hourly earnings are going to drop lower. Less people are going to be employed. A tighter economy is going to equal less consumer spending. So let's put that as CS. Consumer spend is going to go down. And what do you think is going to happen to inflation if the demand decreases? So if demand decreases, price is also going to decrease. So you will get inflation, your CPI, and your headline inflation dropping as well. And what is it that the Fed is trying to do? The Fed is trying to tighten up the labor market to create stricter conditions in the economy, and they're also trying to bring inflation down to their magical number, which is 2%. And I think we're currently trading just below 5%. So 2% is the inflation target for the Fed. And if you go back to all of the previous FOMC meetings and all of the Fed comments, they want to get inflation back to their 2% target. And once they get that, then they'll be happy. And then obviously the interest rates have worked. So with all of this happening, the expectation is that interest rates are going to stay neutral. Let's call it relatively neutral where it's currently at. So IR interest rates. And the further you restrict the economy, how do you basically stimulate the economy again? You need to start cutting interest rates to stimulate what? To stimulate your consumer spending. And all of us that have accounts and have a bond and a car payment, for the most of us, the higher interest rates have caused you to pay more. But once interest rates start lowering again and you're starting to pay less on your bond, on your car, on everything else, what do? You've got some extra cash in your pocket. And what do we do with extra cash? The normal consumer spends it. He doesn't save it, he spends it. And then we start all over again with the cycle of more spending, higher inflation, and then we need to start tightening the economy again. And that is effectively how our economy works, with reserve banks trying to control the expansion and the contraction of the economy using tools like interest rates, fiscal policy, where it actually comes down to government spending. I think I've mentioned this as well. For governments to stimulate the economy, they need to spend quite a bit on infrastructure, because that is where the majority of blue-collar workers are working. Let's call it the middle class to your lower LSM. If you can employ your middle class and lower LSM, that basically stimulates the entire economy. So unfortunately, South Africa is failing massively on fiscal spending due to corruption, due to poor planning, just due to purely incompetence. Donald Trump did it very well. That's why the economy boomed when he was there. He basically struck a massive infrastructure bill when he started, and that stimulated the economy, stimulated the blue collar workers in the US, and that is why he had one of the strongest economies during his term. Laz, I hope that answers your question. Peaches, then it's all good. Guys, USD JPY just gonna set alert at the daily pivot, so obviously now pushing up above the Asia range, still looking for potential selling opportunities. How deep we push up, that's up to the market, not really up to me, but I still want to sell this. I'm not necessarily overly bullish on it, but let's see DXY as well. I think once we start moving away from the Asia highs and trading below the Asia mid-range, that would give us some clear indication that we can continue bearish. Otherwise we're going to see a deeper pullback, maybe even a pullback up to the weekly pivot during NYSE to then only sell off.
Hi guys, and just a reminder for those that weren't on yesterday's stream, or if they haven't seen, trust us, Friday you don't want to miss out, as we do have a special guest on Friday.
Yeah, so we've got quite a few guests lined up until the end of the year, just hoping that we can make it work, because we only want to do it on Fridays. But Friday we've got Carl James on. Everything I've heard so far is only good, very transparent trader, somebody that's doing very well in the trading industry, and I like to have guys on like that. So Carl James will be our first guest on Friday, so come with some questions. We'll get something. I don't know if Mo is still on the group. Actually just gonna pop Mo a message. We need to do that thumbnail as well and a teaser, but come with some questions on Friday. I also have some questions lined up for him, but we're gonna have a Q&A section as well. We're quickly gonna run through the analysis on Friday, see if there's any setups. Carl's gonna join us. He's also gonna provide some input on some of the pairs, and then we're gonna just have a general chat with him, and then I'm also gonna have a Q&A section as well, where you guys can answer or ask some questions and he can answer. And then next week we've got Giano van Wyk on next Friday, a trader from Namibia that specializes in US 30. We're gonna have him on. Then Ken Chikbo, I just need to confirm, so maybe the week after that we'll get Ken. Ken is a fundamental specialist. He worked on trading floors as an analyst from the UK, I think currently residing in Dubai. Very good friend of mine as well. So Ken, we're gonna have Ken on as well. You don't want to miss Ken. A lot of energy, a very deep understanding of fundamental analysis. And Darren Dix we're also gonna have on. We actually have quite a long list. I don't think the guys can see, but inside of my office all of these windows is basically filled with a Koki marker planning we did for all of the content we want to do and everything we want to bring out for the traders. So everything we're doing here is purely for you guys. It is literally to help the trading community. Nothing we're doing here is to try and capitalize or sell you anything. We are literally trying to give as much value as we can. And how you can support the channel is by liking it and subscribing, and also sharing with your friends. And then our obvious broker partner, Vault Markets. If you haven't subscribed or if you haven't signed up with them, the link is in the description. If you are already a Vault Markets client, great. These streams are for Vault Markets clients, but also for non-Vault Markets clients. And I don't want to punt Vault Markets, but they are doing things the right way. So there's quite a bit that they're planning as well. And one of the initiatives when I spoke to them was doing these live streams, is that they want to create more of a community for traders. Because that relationship between brokers and traders is very cold. Brokers try and give the minimum, where Vault Markets honestly do want to give out a lot of value to their traders.
Yeah, guys, also going back to yesterday's trade, obviously we were cut off early with the load shedding. But yeah, just see if there was a bit of feedback, if any of you guys were on the New York session with us, what you guys thought about that.
Yeah, feedback on the New York session. I enjoyed it. I feel it's a much more volatile session. We're definitely gonna introduce it. Should we open Vault Markets accounts, Chris? Definitely. I think it's up to you, lads. I've got the 200, I think it's a 200% bonus account. For obvious reasons, I'm doing that small account challenge, the $100 to whatever we can get it up until December. But to be very honest, Vault Markets spread and execution on the indices is literally top class. Like, and I think anyone in the chat can attest to that. Like, believe me, I've traded with a lot of brokers. I've worked with a lot of international brokers and local brokers. Laz, the referral link is in the description, so feel free to sign up with that. I've worked with a lot of brokers, and I'm very vocal when it comes to trading conditions, because first and foremost, I'm a trader myself as well. And that's why for many years I didn't put my name behind any broker up until now. So I enjoyed it. Yeah, then definitely we'll introduce that. We also want to introduce trading. Keegs, are we gonna trade NFP? Would you guys like to trade NFP with us on Friday? Let me just see what time is NFP, and we'll maybe do a NFP special.
That's gonna get juicy.
Give me a pitch in the chat if you want to trade NFP with us. This week.
That's gonna be proper account flips.
NFP Friday, peaches in the chat.
Alright guys, you wanna watch us take 1,000 rand to 1 million.
So it's 2:30 on Friday. Let me know if you guys want to trade NFP with us. I think let's get Mo. I don't know if Mo's still in the chat. Let me just send Mo a message right now to do 2 thumbnails. Let's do an NFP special on Friday. Please share it with all of the community. Moski, let's do a thumbnail for Friday for NFP. I'll chat to you after the stream with some ideas. A NFP special. We are gonna do it every month, CPRs and all of that. So once we get everything set here at the office, the PE guys can come and trade here live on the floor, and then we'll also have a live stream for the guys that can't join. But all those big events we'll send out a special notification, and we can potentially also do some funded account giveaways on those days. So share. I'm gonna post something on my stories, or I'll actually make a post on it during the week. Share it with your friends and let's trade NFP together. Friday 2:30. Thumbnail's gonna be cooking soon. Indeed. So let's do NFP on Friday. Get your accounts ready, guys. To support the channel, use the link in the description to register your Vault Markets account. I've got the 200% bonus account. And let's see if
for those type of days, I feel the 200 bonus account is the best option.
Definitely. Guys, what are the speeches everyone is sending? Seapo, it's just a little joke. The peaches, we had a stream on where guys asked how can they get into the NYSE stream, and there was this code where you had to send 2 peaches, basically one of those arm pump emojis, a fist pump. So it's just like a little inside joke. But in all honesty, it actually comes from Josh, another streamer in the US. Very cool guy, very energy, very hype. And I can't actually disclose too much, but for the guys that know what the peach call is, if you watch Josh's stream, if you see something coming up on his stream with a peach, I'll let you guys find out. But Keegs, you know what the peach is. You've seen the peach call. It is ugly.
Peaches bringing the volume.
That is how I signal the market maker to bring in volume. If they monitor your stream and they see peaches in the chat, you will see the market pump. Alright guys, we're getting that move. So ideally we've already broken Asia lows. We've tested the weekly pivot, and I want to see us start doing some divergence here, and then for us to buy this, but currently we can't buy. I'm also not going to sell this, so daily bias is bullish. I'm not going to try and sell this. Let me just check on the 15 minutes marginal. Neil, are you going to sell this? I don't think so. No way I'm selling this. I'm going to wait for my setup to play out. I'm still looking for buys. Ideally, I'll even take buys from here. I just need my 80, my accumulation distribution, to start flipping bullish. Then I will be in there. Pound yen as well, still looking for daily bars bullish for me. Yeah, same here. USD JPY obviously wanted to sell. No sells as of yet. I did mention we can push up all the way back into this zone right here. And I'm actually going to set alerts at the daily R1. 146.95. We can reassess that later, but no sells for me as of yet.
Jerry, I hope you're still holding those sales, my man.
Jerry sitting nicely now. I hope he's not holding sales from here somewhere yesterday. Jerry, please tell me you sold somewhere here.
Yeah, he mentioned earlier he sold, I think, 1936.
Oh, I guess it's only $1 in profit, but let's see. As mentioned at the start, I do want to see some type of pullback back into this area right here. Again, guys, Monday to Friday, 8:30 till 11. Friday, we've got the NFP special. Be sure to like and leave a comment as well. Friday, we've got Carl James on. It's going to be quite a busy day on Friday. Carl James, special guest. And then after that, we've got the NFP special, the afternoon. Could be a longer stream, obviously seeing if we can get some type of trade during NFP or straight after NFP. And if not, then we're going to flip over and wait for the open as well. Because remember, what happens is you get the news, you get some movement, and then once the cash market actually opens up, you get that influx of volume. And once you get that influx of volume, you want to get into the market. DXY back at the session highs, guys. Very interesting, trading back above the Asia highs. Do we have a scenario today where we will pull back during London to then only during New York continue with the previous day's trend? Very likely we can get something like that. Or if we can start trading back below the Asia highs, that is the other scenario. But currently our pairs are not lining up with our daily bias and what I want to see, so no trade for me as of yet. Neil, yeah, you trade the 15 minutes. Why don't you take it, dude? That was literally on your 15-minute setup. That was literally what we've gone through. That is your A+ setup. Basically a nice consolidation, a break of structure to the upside. It is an engulfing candle. There's your structure break back above the daily pivot. Price is trading above your 200 EMA. Your accumulation distribution is bullish. Like, everything was in your favor there. But it's similar to what we discussed, Neil, on WhatsApp for UJ yesterday. Again, solid setup. Daily bias for yesterday was bullish. Here we had our retest of the daily pivot, which was also subsequently just above the Asia highs, and we had our bullish engulfing candle right there. Everything is pointing bullish. It is at your daily pivot. You could have entered right there. 20 pip stop. Target was S1. Actually moved all the way to R3. I would have taken 90% off there and left the runner, but with load shedding yesterday, things were a little bit upside down here, and we had quite a big planning session in the office the morning. So once I got to the charts, I wasn't really locked in. A++ setup was thinking of the statement that Mark Douglas made that when the pattern presents itself, execute fearlessly. Weirdly enough, Keegan and myself talked about it this morning, where if you've got a system that's very mechanical and you've got steps, like my system I feel is very mechanical, if all your boxes are ticked, you don't overthink it. That's the thing, you remove the thinking out of it. So let's say, for instance, this 5-minute closed like this and the accumulation distribution was bullish. I would execute right here because my daily bias is bullish. We're trading at the moving averages, but this step for me is not ticked, so this is the only box that is not ticked, and therefore I cannot take the trade. I have to wait for my setup to play out. Otherwise, if I take a loss, I can buy here with the expectation that we are going to continue bullish, and I can have my stop here 15 pips, and I can have the expectation that we can push up all the way to here. And then if I take a loss, it's a bad loss because all of my rules weren't met. So if I start breaking one rule, I'm going to start breaking more rules, and at the end of the day, your entire playbook's out of the window. You're trading without rules, and you're trading basically on what you feel. Just as a disclaimer, I'm not in a trade, I was just explaining something here. The difference between a good loss and a bad loss. Where a good loss is one where you followed all of your rules, and a bad loss being one where you broke your rules and you took a hit. I'm perfectly fine in taking a loss where I followed my rules. Zero emotion. But I'm going to be pissed with myself if I took a loss and I broke my own rules. Brahm, no. So we don't necessarily want to sell GU, we want to buy it. Only thing we're waiting for is our accumulation distribution to fall in line. But at this stage, no, there's nothing honestly that I can say that's pointing bearish at this stage. Yesterday took out Monday's low, continued bullish. We've got two bullish candle closures confirming this support right here. I want to see a retest back into this area right here, so we can pull back to come and retest this 2610 area. I will then just wait for price to get back above the Asia lows, but no sells for me as of yet. If your strategy dictates that you should be selling the Asia highs or the lows, that's perfectly fine. Don't let me deter you from trading your own strategy. But I'm just sharing what we do here. Mo, how's the disclaimer video coming on for the introduction? On that note, just a disclaimer quickly, these streams are purely for educational and entertainment purposes only. Do not construe these streams to be financial advice. Please seek advice from your financial advisor before making any financial decision. You will lose money if you follow what we do on these streams. Therefore, please make educated decisions, and yeah, ultimately it's still your own trade. So the inflation numbers came out quite a bit lower this morning in Australia. That's good. We're seeing a slowing in the housing market as well. The housing market ran quite hot, so in terms of building permits, you can see that being lower. CPI in the Eurozone, or your IPI and your CPI in Spain, slight increase to 0.5, nothing major, and then the year-on-year CPI basically flat in terms of their consensus, and then your harmonized CPI came in slightly lower. I don't really follow Spain's economy. I've only been there once, to Barcelona and Tarragona and Ries, but I don't follow the economy. But overall, if there's signs of slowing inflation globally, then that's good for the rest of the world as well. Because this current business cycle we are in is purely due to high inflation caused by the stimulus that was pumped into the market during the pandemic. They should have stopped like months before they actually stopped. I showed Keegan the Fed's balance sheet during 2019. Absolutely silly. Mo, the camera should be here today. Caitlin had phoned in, so they actually did try and deliver it yesterday, so
Well, gents, we have a quiet London session here.
GJ is currently at my zone, but if it doesn't hold my zone, then there's no trade. So I want to see a change of character, leaving a displacement with a fair value gap, and who to go short from there.
Yeah, Mo, let's just hope it's not like the light you ordered for us. So just to clarify on that question there, Risha, you meaning it in like if you waiting for, let's just say like now how UJ is looking, if you're waiting for that pullback but this thing just continues bullish, or are you meaning that it continues, for example, you're waiting it to turn around here and it carries on bullish and then turns around later? Just clarify what you mean, just that you're saying that it continues in the main direction. But genuinely, I think the biggest thing is, like we always say to people, a lot of people, when we say like, for example, support and resistance, they wait on like a solid line. So literally like if you look on the screen, how people have like a weekly pivot, they will put all their money on that sell, like on that pivot, and obviously it might go a little bit past. So that's what personally I always like to refer to them as zones and areas, because it can happen anywhere in that parameter. But then that's where we talk about wait for your confirmations. So either wait for a certain candle pattern, bearish or bullish or engulfings, double tops or bottoms, things like that. Look for some type of confirmation that you'll have to then enter the trade.
Rika, a very good example is yesterday. For instance, yesterday I wanted to buy USD. This is now a very good example for you. I wanted to buy USD. I ideally wanted this 5-minute candle to be a little bit smaller, and I wanted to have a tiny bit of a pullback to trade as close to the daily pivot as possible. Yesterday I didn't get any one of those two. I didn't get a pullback on this candle right here. This candle already popped almost 60-70 points away from the pivot. That was almost 60, and I couldn't enter, and this thing ran literally almost, what is it, let's quickly look at where it peaked. This thing ran from the daily pivot almost 338 points, and I was not a part of it. And I've got zero FOMO because I know there are going to be days where I can get in, like for instance last week and the week before that. So there shouldn't be any FOMO, and that is the thing. If you've got a particular setup that you're trading and you're waiting for it and you don't get it, like it is literally part of it. That's part of trading. There are going to be great moves that you're part of. There's going to be terrible trades that you're part of, but it is all sticking to your plan and having that basically that discipline to just stick to what you are doing. And I know when you start out in trading, you want to be part of everything, and you will come back, for instance, in a session and you would see Nasdaq moved up like 400 points. How much did this move up? You would see this and you'll be like, flip, I wasn't a part of it, and now you have FOMO and now you're chasing. Remove that. If it wasn't in your window, if it wasn't in your zone and you missed it, you missed it. Otherwise you're gonna put a lot of and or this that into your strategy, and at the end of the day you're just going to be confused and you're not going to be able to pull the trigger. So alright guys, GU starting to break session highs, DXY back inside of the Asia range. I want to see some rejections here at the Asia highs. I want to see this come lower, and then at that stage I want to see basically GU hold the weekly pivot. So if we can get some type of retest right here, even a little bit of a consolidation in this zone, I would want to be buying from that area right there, and I ideally want to see us push above the Asia highs. Let's say we do get a buy here. I do not want to see us fail here, because this is also at the half round number. So the half round number is literally on the Asia highs, 12650 half round number. If we can't get through that half round number, we are coming back into the Asia range. So therefore half round number, very key that we get above that level. Let me just put this on top and put that at the bottom, not to confuse the guys. but this half round number, very key that we get above it. We've had a nice extension, had a nice break of structure, so I ideally want to see some type of pullback, and then we're going to execute from this weekly pivot. Already took Asia lows, so not too concerned about that. I just want to see some structure being formed right here. So best case scenario, nice little pullback, do something like this, and we're going to execute from this weekly pivot. And yeah, that question comes in again. If we miss it, let's say it literally does something like this, 3 5-minute candles that pop up to this zone, we missed it, and that is just part of trading. It's not going to be any FOMO. We're going to wait for our setup and we're going to execute. Keegs, is your watch list still chalked on?
Let me just check. No, it's working. Yeah, mine's working again.
Alright guys, start locking it in for GU. Potential trade in the next 30 minutes, and UJ not as of yet. Any of the yen pairs just literally pumping up here, nothing for me there. Gonna focus on GU. Potentially gonna be monitoring USD as well, but at this stage GU. Nice little support candle. If we can form that, get a nice little break of structure here, we could see DXY coming lower. That's going to give us the pullback on GU. But Rika, there's going to be a lot of trades, so don't stress if you miss one trade. Like Keegan can tell you, there's many trades. Like yesterday, he took a trade here off Asia lows, right there, off the Asia lows. There have been many trades like this that is missed. There's countless kicks, there's countless times where you've missed the trade.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Like, obviously, yeah, when she made it clear what she was saying, then obviously you clarified that. But it is, I always say to people, you don't chase the market, you let the market come to you. It's not worth sacrificing and putting your entry at risk over FOMO. If it's going to be, it's going to be, and if it's not, it's not. But again, I think that's just a psychology of not just sticking to your rules, but in a way sticking to a setup that you are 100% satisfied with. I'm not going to make it like an 80 or 60% entry and technically already lowering my risk, my RR and stuff like that, just to be like, oh, as long as I made it into the move type of thing. Because if I make, for example, a higher entry than what I wanted, I'm either going to increase my stop loss and making it a much bigger move, or I'm going to keep it short, but my stop loss is going to be a lot closer than where I originally would have wanted it. So some way you're always going to end up sacrificing something. So I always say you got to stick to your guns, and if it plays out, it plays out, and if not, well, you get the next one. And just another thing is like, when you think about it, like, I know the markets move, and the guys in the office are witness to this. Like, there's been some massive moves. I've sat at my desk and I've literally watched it play out. I was there. I could have taken the trade, but I didn't. And you watch it play out. And I think the biggest thing is, you know what, you always think about the moves, and you go, oh, where there was such a massive move. Like, I could have caught that one. But a good thing to remember is there's trillions of dollars that move through the market every single day. So trust me when we say, if you miss one move, it's not like you're not going to make money tomorrow. You will still have that opportunity again sometime.
Yeah, it's that case of I was thinking the market's going to be gone in like 6 months. We have to now try and get all of our trading done. In 6 months' time, market is closing down. Can't trade anymore. Trading is stopping. Brokers are closing down. Why do we trade like that? I think I saw the one thing where they said like, let's say for instance you're 22 and you still have, let's say, 45 years till your retirement. Why are you trading like you want to retire on Friday? That should not be the idea. The idea should be to be in this game for a long time. And how can you stay in the game for a long time? Slowly but surely chipping away at it. Not the blow and glow type scenario. Blow or glow. Like.
But you know what, Chris, there's something again we spoke about today or this morning is, again, people still always look at trading as that get rich overnight. And end of the day, like, if you want to be serious about trading, you've still got to treat this as a business. There needs to be a plan. Like, this is not going to become a multi-million foundation in 2 weeks. It's not going to happen. If you got to work with that plan of, I'm going to do this, I'm going to stick it out, I'm going to be here for 8, 9, 10 years. And at that time, I want that goal. But not thinking it's going to happen literally by Friday.
I think we would all love to retire on Friday, but we can't trade like we want to retire on Friday. That's the unfortunate thing.
No, but you see, that's why we're going to trade NFP and we're going to flip our accounts all to like $2 million.
And then Friday we retire, streams are done. Well, it will then become
the best of luck.
We wish you the best of luck. It's because we're gonna make this a lifestyle stream. Guys in the chat, just let me know. I see now the new flex on IG is having bodyguards. I don't know what that's all about. Like previously it was like clothes and stuff, but now the new flex is like, look at my 2 bodyguards.
I'm going to hire, from next week, I'm going to hire Jevin and Mo as my bodyguards.
Keegs, I wonder if you can, if you can just come in a black suit tomorrow. We're going to do some content here. I'll just get like a plastic gun for you as well. And then you just need to walk into the office with me with your gun. Mo, that's what we're going to market with. I see that's trending now. G-Man as well, just a black suit tomorrow, please. Rika Che, lol, I've seen that. This guy called Forex Nasdaq billionaire.
Oh yeah, that is so funny.
Also the Forex goats moving with bodyguards. I'm not saying anything, guys. I'm just asking, like, is that now a flex? I think I've told the story here in the office as well. There's been a time when I had to go visit somebody, and I'm not going to disclose the location or anything, but got picked up at the airport by his bodyguards. got to his home, like cars getting reversed into the driveway, like all of the cars are pointing away from the house, so in a case we have to just get out. But low-key, the guy's not even on social media, very wealthy. So there are guys that do it purely for their own protection, but I don't foresee why, if you're a trader, why you would need bodyguards.
Another thing is that, like, we're actually having this talk with, I don't know who I was having this conversation with, but we were saying, like, once you get your traders that are very, very well known, but we kind of forget it's like a community. They're known to us because it's relevant to us. But you're not like a celebrity that any random person on the street is going to look at you and know who you are. So again, like, I don't see how a trader would need bodyguards.
Unless you're scamming, bro. Then if you're scamming, then scammers need
like
bodyguards.
A whole SWAT team.
You flipping need a SWAT team, because oaks are gonna slap you if they see you in the street. So I think scammers get bodyguards. If you're not scamming, you should actually be loved by the community of traders. But yeah, I don't know. That's a topic for another day. You know, I know very wealthy people. I'm not talking millionaires. I'm talking billionaires, and the majority of them don't have bodyguards. The only guys that I know that have bodyguards are businessmen that are in the cigarette industry, because there's obviously a lot of cash that moves around. But for instance, property developers and stuff, billionaires I've met, very down to earth guys. You wouldn't even say they're billionaire, but I think it also depends on the industry. As a trader, you're not walking around with money. Your funds are either in your bank account or it's liquid somewhere, but you're not going to be driving around with R1 million in a backpack unless you're Floyd Mayweather, that carries $1 million with him in his backpack.
I was actually watching a reel the other day of a South African trader, where it was quite funny. He was saying, like, obviously they got to that point where they had flipped quite some big accounts, and he said, like, in the old days, I mean, it was so much easier where the guys used to always just go and get their cash. Where he says, like you said, now a lot of traders, we don't walk around with cash on us. It's all in your bank accounts. So they went to the bank to go withdraw this money, and they wanted like 100k, but first of all they could only get it in 20, so they had to like do 20k, 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 and eventually they walked out there with like these bags of like 100k. And he gets home and he laid it all out on his bed, and he has a photo of it, and he just sat there and he was like, it's cool, but at the same time, like, this is so stupid. Like, what am I doing? What are you gonna do with 100k in cash?
Yeah, that's the thing. I never have cash on me. Like, my cards are on my phone, on Apple Pay, and on my watch. The only time I ever have my wallet with me is if I'm doing an online purchase and I need the CVV number on the back of the credit card or debit card. But other than that, you will, and if I've got cash, I give it away at the robots or if I see somebody. So I never have cash on me. It's like for the last 7-8 years, like I never walk around with cash, purely because I just give it away. I've got a very tiny heart, and if I see somebody struggling, it affects me quite deeply. That's why I don't like seeing people struggle, and that is why I will always try and help as far as I can, but also not with the idea. We actually had this conversation yesterday in the office. Like, you're not a charity. It's fine if you help somebody in need, but you don't want to create codependency where somebody depends on you. You want to rather empower somebody. So if you're going to help somebody, it's fine. You can give him cash, you can give him food. Like the other day, I don't like telling something. I'm not even going to talk about helping somebody, but anyway, first thing, if you help somebody, don't put it on social media. Like, honestly, if you help somebody, there's actually a verse in the Bible that says your left hand shouldn't know what the right hand is doing. So if you're going to go out and help somebody and then put it on social media to chase clout and stuff, that is absolutely silly. But in the other case as well, help somebody find a job. If you can rather give somebody employment, then you've empowered that person. But to create almost that mindset of codependence, you never want to do that. You want to empower that person to basically, he's able to buy his own stuff. He can get a job, he can work, but you don't want to create a welfare. What's the benefit of opening multiple positions, Rika? I honestly don't know. There's a lot of things in the South African trading environment that is completely weird to me. For instance, opening like multiple positions. I don't know if it's like a mental thing where you feel better adding a lot of small positions, but I don't know. It's a very weird thing. I think Joash Snyder is one of them. I don't know why that man has got like, maybe it's to hide his account balance, then he doesn't have to like scroll up and down. Maybe that's one of the reasons. So if you've got 40 positions open, you can just scroll up and your account balance is hidden.
Yeah, I've always said like when Oaks do that barcode trading, like I've got my opinions on it, and there's just always something. If you already start doing that, like I understand scaling in, so maybe adding in like 2 more positions in a trade if you go in like on a long type of swing trade. But that whole barcode trading, it's the minute I see it, I don't want to look. I just shake my head and I'll walk away.
Like I understand realistically 4 positions. Let's say for instance I want to scale in here, and then I'll go maybe 0.33% of my risk here, another 0.33 there, and then say another 0.3 here. Then you've got basically, if I was risking 1%, that totals my 1%. But the scaling thing, having like 60 positions here, but I believe MT5 now has got a bulk operation setting. I think somebody mentioned it here. Like you can now go on your MT5 and say close all positions. That is now a function of MT5.
Yeah, it is. I remember I was showing it to you in the office. If you have like your 2 or 3 positions open, you can close them all at the same time. But now that was my thing. So again, just added to that whole thing is, especially these guys, because they love trading news events. Now, with all the manipulation lately in these moves, if you open 60 positions before this function came out, you can't tell me you were able to close all 60 positions before that move came back at you. Like, you lost all the profits you were in by the time you've closed that last position.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. Guys in the chat, let me know who spams positions like that, and we can get him on as a guest and actually ask what's the theory or the reasoning behind having 60 positions open.
I think we all know who the first one's going to be.
Let me know who's the first one that comes to mind. Are you talking about the local legend?
Yeah, the 100 to 11 million.
Yes, the
Bro, I promise you, if you can do that, like I will respect you, like on a whole nother level. I will kiss the floor that you walk on. If you can flip 100 to 11 million in one trade, like that is ridiculous. There's no way. I'm sorry, you can't do that.
So here's the thing, guys, and I don't want to cause beef with anyone in the industry. Like we in our own lane, we focus at what we are doing and building our community. But my question always is to anyone is just think critically, ask the right questions. Don't be manipulated and naive in believing everything. For instance, if somebody shows you a $100 account to 10 million, like ask that person to put it on say my FX book, and then ask him to show withdrawals. Like he can literally withdraw the funds into his dashboard. Let him show you the withdrawal back into his dashboard. And in all honesty, if you are making $10 million and you're still selling signals and courses, like you need to stop. Like honestly, you need to just reevaluate your life, because then there's no need for you to sell courses and signals. And there's nothing wrong with selling signals and giving courses. Like it's still a business, you're still selling your time. I've got no dispute with that. I've helped traders set up their own education platforms, all of that. I provided, when I started out, the education initially for free, then I charged the fee just due to time constraints. So if somebody's serious, they will pay the fee. So nothing wrong with that. But my thing is, if you are scamming people in basically creating fake results and claiming it to be real, that is a big problem for me. So is it possible to take $100 to $10 million? Dude, I'm not saying it's impossible, but if you can show me the guy that on any broker platform shows you a deposit, so I've deposited $100, he shows you the withdrawal. So let's say, for instance, I take this $100 to R1 million. If anybody disputes it, I will withdraw the funds from my broker platform into my bank account, and you can verify it, you can phone the bank, whatever, but highly improbable that I can take this $100 to 150 million rand. Essentially, that is what it is. Gigs $10 million. That no, I'm talking cuck. It's 190 million rand. So if you are making 190 million rand, why are you still driving old cars? That is my question.
My thing is, even just a simple thing like, I'm a firm believer, especially when it comes to this whole trading and like guys giving out false like results and information and stuff like that. I always say to people, your lifestyle will always show it. And by saying that again, be clever, look at the real stuff. Like Chris is saying, if that's the money you're making, why am I driving an old car? Why am I living in a 1-bedroom place? Why am I doing that? Like, it just like put one. Why, in all fairness, am I probably trading on like a Hawaii? Like, just like put them together. And I always say to people, like, also like those type of results, just please go show me, name even one of the top, like I mean the top best traders in the world, if even one of them have ever done that, and they haven't. So why is some backyard guy with 200 followers on Instagram saying he's done it? Like, just think about it.
For instance, like the FX goats, like they've got money, dude. Don't mistake that. They literally, they are very transparent in that they've not shown silly shit like taking $100 to $10 million. They've traded money, made money It reflects in their lifestyle. It reflects in the cars they drive. It reflects in the homes they live. Like that, for instance, if they selling something, like I'll say support it. I'm not punting any traders or any education, but I mean there is a consistency between what you see, what is posting on Instagram, and with the lifestyle they are living. But if I'm posting shit like I'm making 100 million rand, and I still drive my my M340 and my M235, then there's a discrepancy. Then I'm not sitting on 100 million rand or 200 million rand. If I'm sitting with 200 million rand, I'm off the grid. Like, I'm deleting social media. You'll never find me again. Like,
my biggest thing is that just like saying that quickly, like we all, I think majority of us are guys, yeah, but not even being shit like that, is you make 100 million. And again, that's not like it's a lifetime target. That's what you make in a week. Like, I'm sorry, the first thing I do, and I think this is where my partner knows, and I'll probably get a backhand, but if I made 3 million, even 3 million today, the first thing I'm doing, I'm going to go buy a sports car. I'm buying like some Lambo or McLaren or something like that. Like, it's going to happen. And you're telling me you're still driving some old car, yet you're sitting with 100 million in 1 week. It just doesn't make sense.
Guys, I've said it on the stream. What's my thoughts on robots? So here's my thoughts. If you want to take money and you want to burn it, there's two ways to do it. You can actually go and withdraw funds. You make a fire over the weekend. You throw that money into the fire, or you spend that money on a robot, and then that robot is the fire where you will continuously throw money into account, and none of these robots are working. Again, the thing comes back to, if I've got a robot that's doing these crazy results, why the fuck would I sell that robot to thousands of people? I would not be selling that. I would be flipping, compounding the shit out of it, and I would keep it a secret. But there's no such thing as a robot that works. Believe me when I say that.
Darkness.
No, there's no robot that you can code on MQL 4 or 5 that works. Like I've told you guys, there's robots that work very well in a trending market. There's robots that work very well in a ranging market. But either or, the ranging bot is going to cuck during a trending market, and the trending bot is going to cuck off during a ranging market. So please do not waste your money on any robots. I'm begging you guys.
But again, like you were saying there, like if you are making that type of money, I'm not going to be selling robots, or I'm not even going to be trading anymore. Like, I am done. Like you said, I'm going to be off the grid. You're just going to see me on Sky Sports at the F1 in Monaco, and that's the only time you'll ever see me. Other than that, to the world, I probably don't even exist anymore. I'm just going to be living my life.
Chris, thank you for your thoughts for this cuck robot. Chef Rowley, have you bought a bot? Maybe some of the guys in the chat, if you've bought a bot, give us some results. Has it been profitable? I'm very honest with you guys. Like I mentioned, I'm almost going on 9 years in the industry. There was a period of my life where I spent a lot of money on buying various bots, testing them. I developed a few of my own bots, up until I came to the conclusion that ultimately something that is scripted on MetaTrader, that uses purely indicators, and it is very limited in terms of the actual data that you can put into it, and the output data, how to basically, let's call it, I wouldn't even say calculate the output data, but It's not an algorithm in terms of something that uses AI or big data or machine learning, for instance, with back-propagated neural networks, where as the robot basically gets more data and it runs more data sets, the bot actually learns. That's what machine learning is. The bot actually builds up a memory and it improves itself with every iteration. Like that is a bot, or that is what I would call an algo. These little scripts that they write on MT5 and MT4, if you just go and look at the size of those scripts, it's like not even 2 megs. So how much code can really go into a little bot like that? Mo, we should actually clip this bot section, because I see that is now the new trend, how they're scamming guys with fucking selling bots, and it's absolutely horrendous. Guys raping the retail trading community. And that is the unfortunate thing, guys. There's marketers that are very good at marketing. They are bad traders, but they are phenomenal marketers. They sell you a dream, they make money off you. They're not making money from trading, they're selling you this pipe dream. And the unfortunate thing is the retail trading community is so desperate for something good and something that works, that they fall for it every time. Like the new trend is now, I see it's the bot trend is back now again. I thought it ended with John Gotti, but I see it's now resurfacing all over. There are traders in the live markets, there are Instagram traders. 100% correct, Hussein. I think from my bot experience, knowledge is key. I've learned the hard way. Exactly. Don't get me wrong, you can do an algo, you can get an algo that's going to work phenomenally well, but it's not going to be scripted on MQL. You're going to have some type of API linked, for instance, like I'm not even going to go into that. Let me not even confuse you guys. But Bronwyn Governor was looking at purchasing beast mode, but now beast mode, jeez, from who's that? Beast mode. Yeah, they come from where I live.
I've heard of that, so I'm trying to think who it was now, but I actually have heard that beast mode bot. If I'm correct, this is a South African person.
The FX Goats. Yeah, the FX Goats are, they've done well for themselves, guys. The FX Goats have done really well. Is J Money selling a bot? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, J Money. Let me just see this. J Rizzle. Let me just get my Instagram up here.
So also just to update you guys real quick, I didn't send this out or didn't tell you guys I'm taking it because it was a risky position, but that GU trade we looked at earlier, I took a nice little sell up about 12 pips, about to move stop to break even. Very nice run down, but
G-Man, you can't do that. You can't do that. No, you can't. That trade doesn't exist. If you didn't share it with the guys on the stream, that trade is non-existent to us. So I can't say, flip guys, just took a nice little sell here on the Asia lows, running 50 pips. We have to share it. So that trade is your own, but we're not gonna count it on the stream. But you did say you wanted to sell closer to the Asia highs.
Yeah, it was a very nice entry, perfect entry, zero drawdown.
We're not going to give you credit for it because nobody ate with you on that trade. So well done for you, but for the community, that is unacceptable, guys, taking trades without letting us know. But hey, it's hard to believe anything nowadays. I wouldn't necessarily say it's hard to believe anything. I think people are just ignorant in terms of asking the right questions. Like, just ask critical questions to somebody. Like the first one being, you call yourself X, Y, and Z. You trading a $10 million account. You're driving an old car. you live in a 1-bedroom apartment. Like, it doesn't add up. Like, the profits you share on IG need to reflect your lifestyle. I'm not even trading a 10 million rand account, and I can flex a lifestyle harder than most, but I'm not doing that. But I'm just saying there needs to be some correlation. So Joash is going beast mode robot. My goodness. The beast mode scalper 1.0. Oh my goodness, J Money.
Yeah, we've seen it all now.
Oh my goodness. Look at this beast mode scalper. Just look at that, guys. The beast mode scalper.
So how much did he charge for it?
I'm gonna check now. J Money with the beast mode scalper. My goodness. Let me just see. I don't think he's got a website though. Like, the beast mode robot scalper. Yeah, he does everything on WhatsApp. I don't know why though. I don't know if he's scared of like Google reviews or like Trustpilot getting cuck reviews, but be honest, has anybody bought the beast mode? What is it? Beast mode robot scalper 1.0. What is that guy's name that lives here in SA that basically calls out all the scammers? What is
his name is Rydal Fix.
Rydal Fixes. It's been a while since I've seen. So I think Rydal might have already done a video on it. Let me just see. Rydal. Let me see.
You know what we need to do is we must actually get hold of Ethan, and Ethan must get these guys on that challenge of his.
Oh yeah. Guys, I'm just gonna run to the toilet. We're still looking for buys. I'm gonna be right back. We're gonna see where we close. I want to take buys above the weekly pivot. Follow us on Instagram. Be sure to leave a like. I will be back in about 65 seconds. And then we're going to see if we can execute. So it's going to quickly call the market maker. See you guys now. Come back, guys. Just want to quickly go through the chat here. Okay, let's see. Chris, I'm going to be honest. I bought a robot from one of those top G's in the industry. Sorry, I won't mention the name. No, it's fine. I don't have to mention a name. A good guest might also be Mad Chart. He's made quite a name for himself being a South African. He's getting interviewed soon on Top Tier Trader, but he wears a mask, literally.
Oh, the boy himself.
I know exactly who Mad Charts is. Like, I told him I won't expose him. I know exactly. I've known him for almost 6 years, so. But yeah, I have chatted to him. We are potentially going to get Mad Charts on. How did it go? What happened, Chef? The next day when you wake up, almost all the money is gone. It pissed me off that I end up even throwing my laptop into the swimming pool. Bro, I'm telling you, from that robot, if you make profit today, at first I thought I will just relax and the robot will do everything, like from opening that. Okay, that was my lesson with those robots. Never again, cuck robot. Sorry, man. Learned the hard way. Yeah, robots. Robots are robots. I do believe, wait, I was looking at Rydell. So I don't know how long some of you've been trading, but there was a guy called Forex Rob years ago, and he was basically doing what Rydell is doing now, exposing all of the bad players. So if you were gonna scamming people, oh yeah, I see already. I already see Rydell. Let me just get in here. And if somebody knows Rydell, I would love to have Rydell on as a guest as well. He's been doing very, very good work as well in the trading industry, and I've got a lot of respect for that. I think he made a bot something on.
Yeah, these guys in the flippin' chat, oh my word.
I almost lost my family with robots. Yeah, guys, robots are a complete fucking scam. Please, sorry for my English. Like, honestly, I'm here to help and to educate, and I'm telling you guys, stay away from robots. There aren't any robots that work. Please. The only thing you're doing with buying those robots, are you funding those traders or those scammers or marketers, whatever you want to call them, you're funding their lifestyles. Please don't do that. If you're really serious about trading, rather spend that money that you would have spent on a bot getting good education. I'm going to try my best to provide as much free education as I possibly can. I'm already writing the modules for the educational suite that we're going to have on Vault Markets. It's all going to be video recorded. I'm also going to get it transcripted into a PDF, but and I'm not trying to put guys out of business that's doing education and signals and all of that, but my only thing is, please do it with a pure heart and do it with a good intention. But if you've got a hidden agenda, that is a big problem. Does anybody know Rydell Fix? Personally, I would like to get him on it. He doesn't respond on IG that much, but I'm gonna try. I think Rydell Fix. Yes, there's Oaks thumbnails or his titles for his videos. Account blowers Forex. if anybody needs a bodyguard, the way that he exposes some of these big marketers, I would say it's Rydell, because he has pissed off so many of these scammers and lifestyle sellers. Like,
but you see, as we were saying earlier, those are the guys I could understand might need a bodyguard. But guys that are like just trading, they give it back to the community, like people love them. Like, why do you need a bodyguard?
I once bought a fundamental signals with my friend from DJ. I bet you'll know. DJ, are you talking about coach? 1 minute. 1 minute strategy.
You know, guys, like, don't get me wrong, like, there is guys that actually can trade the 1 minute. I mean, there is people we personally do know that can trade a 1 minute chart and they kill it. But again, like we were talking about earlier, there's very, very strict rules they follow. But again, with guys, also like when we laughed the other day, when you start coming to me with a seconds chart, yeah, then it's a different story.
Maybe we must get Joash on as a guest, and we ask him to throw that bot on live.
He can come trade New York session with us, like he always does, and we want to see him trade with his own bot live.
No, he wouldn't. Oh, Joash.
You know, the one thing I'll give to him, man, is at least he's got a McLaren.
He's got a McLaren, dude. Let's be honest. I think we've asked this question as well, some of the guys. So here's my thing, guys. I honestly, I would support any trader if you're doing good work, and there's like, for instance, Carl James that's coming on Friday. Like, I've only heard good things about him, and he's very transparent. He's not trying to sell you a pipe dream and whatnot. Like I can support that. I will tell people, look, you can check this trader out, this, that. But if I'm getting the same message from various people, for instance, if you're selling signals and everybody tells me that they are blowing accounts, and then this guy selling the signals is posting how he's winning and he's showing these winners, but he stayed through the drawdown, your stop's got hit, he doesn't trade at the stop, that's a problem for me. That is legitimately a problem for me.
Yeah, I think like that's the thing. And again, like these guys that are going to be coming on, there's a few of them that obviously we all know personally and stuff like that. So I don't want to get into it too much. Like that is their story to tell and stuff for them to share with you guys. But yeah, the transparency, and when you trade, you actually, as a real trader that's traded these markets, that goes to the ups and the downs, like you already will see that you can you'll understand what they're talking about because you've been through it and you can see that they went through it. But when these guys are just talking about this dream life, it's like, honestly, when it's too good to be true, I always say there's something wrong.
If it's too good to be true, it's usually just that, too good to be true. Fundu, you guys just do trading for a living, that's so cool. How many trades you'll take per day, or focus more on pips? Some days I'll take 2 trades, some days I'll take 0. For instance, this week I've only taken 2 trades, both were break even trades. The trade I took on Monday with you guys, that was a break even. Later in the day I took GJ sell, that was also break even, ran about 15-17 pips in profit, moved stops to break even. Yesterday didn't catch a single trade. There was one opportunity on UJ, but other than that, I think I mentioned it in one of the previous streams. I'm not focused on pips or anything. I'm literally focused on getting my setup, executing on my setup, and then once I'm in the trade, managing the trade according to my plan. And if I get 3 trades in a day, great. If I get 10, great. If I get 0, also perfectly fine. It's ultimately just following your rules.
Yeah, I think we mentioned it one of the other sessions where we said to the guys, like, don't chase a certain target, because you're not necessarily going to get what you're looking for. So you don't know what the market conditions are going to be. So necessarily, if you want to, maybe have like a realistic percentage or target for like the week, but then it gives you that time to do things. So for example, like even myself, I didn't trade Monday, I traded yesterday, and now I only need 1 more % for my weekly target. So I don't need to rush things. I don't need to try force a trade when it's not necessary. Like, have the perfect setup, get your win, and when you have that, call it a day, call it a week, whatever you need, and walk away with the profits.
Talking on that, also a very good thing to do for yourself, and we talked about it as well, myself and Keegs. Let's say for instance you're doing a funding challenge and you are down by quite a bit, like especially referring to your, let's call it your funded accounts, where you for instance only have a 5% max daily drawdown and you've got say a 10% overall drawdown. But let's say for some reason you broke your rules, you're 7% down. Now what you need to do is, what is going to change in terms of your trading plan? Nothing's going to change if you know your trading plan and your strategy works, but lower your risk and then create little targets for yourself. For instance, say you drop your risk down, let's say on a $100,000 account, you drop your risk down to 0.25, so that risk is $250 per trade. You 7% down, you basically need to make $7,000 to get back to break even. That is your BE point. And now you build it in little increments. So now you tell yourself, I first want to get 5 R, and I'm saying R and not dollar amount because your R is basically what you're risking per trade. So that is your risk, so $250. And now you tell yourself, let me first hit 5R before I go back to a 0.5% risk again. And then you've got a plan set out saying, realistically, I don't trade a lot, so I can potentially hit 2R per week. And for me to get back to break even, I need say 12R. And then you start breaking it down into little chunks. Otherwise, the dream or the vision is going to be so far away and you're going to feel like you're on this treadmill and you're not getting anywhere. But now what you've done is you've broken down this goal into tiny little segments, and what that does is mentally and psychologically, it basically stimulates you hitting these little goals where eventually, if you look back, you're going to hit that big goal. So now you've got that nice feeling, shit, okay, I've ticked off my 2R for the week. Brilliant, you feel good. Next week you come back recharged, you hit another 2R. You're seeing progress, you're hitting little goals you've set for yourself the week after that. And then after 2-3 months, you've built up all of these little goals that you've set to yourself. And after 3 months, you look back and you're like, flip, I've made 20% in the last 3 months, or I made 30%. But you've broken it down into digestible bits where you can actually target that on a daily, weekly basis. So for instance, for me, before I went full-time, I literally did a complete budget for myself. I literally sat down, I said, what is my budget? So my budget is my car, my home, my utilities like internet, cell phone, food, spending. This is literally what I did. Spending, let's say for instance entertainment. I put out my entire budget. You can actually now go on your banking app and they give you your budget if you're with F&B. And I worked out, and let's say for instance that worked out to, let's say 60k. I need 60k per month to comfortably live. So 60k per month. And then what I did is I've broken it down to what do I need per week. So that is then obviously 20k per week that I need. Let's break it down. 20k per week. What is that per day? That is, if I'm not mistaken, is it 4k a day? I don't have a calculator. 4k kicks. Now I'm talking shit. Where's my calculator? Can't even do math, but I want to trade. So, and it's not even 20k. What am I talking? Jeez, 15k. What the fuck? 15k per week. That brings us to 3k per day, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's like just under 3k.
Yeah, 3k per day. And then I worked it out back to my trading. So I know, for instance, on average I would take 3 to 4 trades a week, or let's call it 3 trades per week. I know what my usual pip count is per week. So let's say I make 50 pips per week. I need to make 15k. So 50 pips per week, and I break it back down to what I require in terms of 50 pips. So 15k per week divided by 1850, what the exchange rate is, that's $810 divided by 50. So I literally need to make $16 per pip, so that's 1.6 lots. And that is basically, I need to be trading 1.6 lots. If I average my 50 pips per week, then I will be able to live comfortably within my means. And you set these targets for yourself and you don't get sidetracked by it. So then you know, for instance, this is what I need to do as a minimum, and give yourself some room for error in terms of, let's say you've got your stats for the last 12 months and on average you're making 80 pips per month, for instance. Then tell yourself, I'm going to go with half of that, so it gives me a safety factor of 2. So technically, even if I only hit 50% of that, I will still be fine. So your safety factor becomes a 1 to 2. And that is how you literally plan from going part-time to full-time. Literally sitting, knowing exactly what you need to do, what your risk needs to be, what account size you need to be trading. And then you actually have a plan. Like if you're saying you want to trade full-time and I come to you and I say, okay, great, you want to trade full-time, give me your plan right now. And it's like, I know I'm just going to trade full-time. But where's your budget? Where's your track record for the last 12 months? Can you consistently even just cover your minimum expenses? And that is, people don't do that. Like, I think a lot of people don't even do a budget. So planning is key when it comes to the engineer struggling with maths. It is absolutely insane that the engineer is struggling with maths. And you know what the unfortunate thing is? Software and applications have made us very lazy. Like even in engineering, when we started out undergrad and postgrad, everything was hand calculated. Then you start designing on software like Procon and Sumo and all of that stuff, and all of it gets literally done within a few seconds. But you still need to know what the first hand basis is. 1 minute strategy. Thank you very much for that info, Chris. It's a pleasure, Mfundu. And that's with anything in life, guys. Have your 10-year plan, your 15-year plan, and then basically this is how your goals should look like in terms of the size and the magnitude of it. So let's say this big circle right here, that is your 15-year plan. But then you break it down to smaller stuff that you need to do. So for instance, you want to start your own business, but you don't have any knowledge about business. Firstly, you need to educate yourself on business. Next thing is you actually have to go and register a business, develop a business plan, do some market research, see if there's a demand for that. After that, you are going to launch your business and you're actually going to run your business. And if it's successful, then you're going to get to the stage where you're going to expand your business and potentially franchise or whatever it is. But everything is built on layers. So you can't get here without the smaller building blocks in your foundation. So
Chris, you're showing off your illustrative skills today.
I have. No, the thing is, when it comes to planning, and I think you're lucky to be with someone that is like very plan orientated, and myself as well. Like my wife is very militant. Like every night before we go to bed, like the house needs to be clean, the kids' lunches are packed, like all of the bags are like in a row there. It's literally all pre-planned, and if you pre-plan, Chris has AutoCAD skills. Rika, I actually do. I actually have some Revit skills as well. That is part of engineering. For the guys that don't know, AutoCAD was the drafting software we used to do our plans and stuff. So but if you plan everything out and it's clear, and especially like Keegan, for instance, Keegan and Caitlin, they are both into bodybuilding and into fitness, and they will tell you that everything is planned accordingly. Like your meals are planned, your training sessions are planned, the amount of fluid you take in is planned. And if you can take that amount of effort for your body, but you can't do it for your finances or for your own self-development, like a lot of times we basically prioritize the wrong things. Guys, absolutely nothing here in the market for me. We will still run at a bit past 11. I just want to see what we do at these levels. I'm still keen for USD buys. Unfortunate thing is that the accumulation distribution is still below the 200, but it is still moving in a bullish direction, so I wouldn't consider sells as of yet, also due to the fact on my daily bias. I could be wrong, and that is fine, but I'm sticking to a bullish bias for the session. And either we're going to pull back again to the Asia lows and we're going to get bullish, or we are going to do something here. Something like that. And I can execute from here, but I am 100% not looking to sell this as of yet. Chris, you should open a platform where we are able to communicate via audio. Sipo, we can maybe look at doing that. I think we can do something maybe on like a backtesting session we can maybe do like some type of registration, and I can get a lot of you guys on the Zoom. But feel free to type in the chat, Sipo. We are here to answer your questions. We're still waiting for our setups to play out. Feel free to ask questions. Feel free to send a chart in the chat. I have some life experiences. We actually laughed yesterday in the office when Keegan was, what was the website? Where the shoes.
What about? The shoes one or the Bear Bricks?
No, we are asked you like, is that dope? And you guys were like, yo, that's such a
The back door.
The back door. So Keegan was showing me some street style. So I told you like I've got zero swag. Like I've got clothes, but and they were showing me some of the fits that are in now. And I asked them, geez, is that dope? And they're like, Chris, this is dope. This is fire. If you want to really move into the Forex influencer role, you need to get some of this streetwear.
Yeah, if you guys that don't, or if you don't know, but we were saying we're going to get Chris to get a Bear Brick, and that's his way to flex on people. We're going to have it there next to him on the view, on the lives, and then we'll have it like, okay, should be a customized one, like a mini Chris.
Bear Bricks. Do you guys know what Bear Bricks are? Honestly, I've seen it, but it's like it's a flex thing. Ever considered starting a Discord server? Keegan, you find working out also helps with your trading in terms of being more alert in the market, healthy body, healthy mind? I'm going to let Keegan answer that first, and then I'll get
actually 100% like I do agree with that. Like you said there, the whole healthy body, healthy mind. I always say, like, you see those reels and Instagram and motivational posts where people always say, like, when you do these 5 things, you're going to become successful and all that. And I'm not promoting it, and I'm not saying that does happen. But, for example, like, when I started cutting out alcohol, I mean, I don't smoke, I don't all of those things. I wasn't going out as often, and I would, like I said, focus on my training. I eat healthy. I did notice a change and a difference, and I feel it is because of the whole thing. I'm not sluggish. Like, I can wake up early in the morning, like, I'm good to go, my brain's ready to go, my body's fueled and functioning, and like it's optimum. So I do feel in a way it does help on the markets, just because, like you say, you've got that alertness, and again, like, I'm not sluggish, I'm not there to react. And my brain's active, my brain is everything, like, it's ready to work. So I do believe it does play a bit of a part in it.
Coming back to Ronald Groenewald, ever considered starting a Discord server? Ronald, I did, and it's not off the cards. The only thing, like, we had a office meeting yesterday, and my thing is, before you start anything, and this is something I had to learn from being younger, like, you can want to do like all of these amazing things, but essentially it comes down to how consistent can you be, and whatever you put out would need to be consistent. So if we started the live streams, there's been months of planning going into the live streams. I had to get a lot of things in place before we started it, because due to the fact that I want the live streams to start on time. If I'm saying Monday to Friday, it's Monday to Friday. Like, I literally need to be like almost hospitalized not to be here, because if I say I'm going to do it from 8:30 till 11, I want to do it. If I open up a Discord server, I would want to see if there's value, what is the engagement that's needed from me, and I don't want to just do a Discord server and there's no value being added, or I can't necessarily give attention to it. So everything that I do pre-planned, and I make sure that it's gonna basically, there's gonna be longevity in it, and that's also one of the reasons why we haven't started NYSE stream yet, is due to it. Can I commit to being on the charts every afternoon at say 3 o'clock? So I feel for now the live streams are more than enough. It is basically an AMA style live stream. You can ask me anything on the live stream, and a Discord server, I don't know. The thing with the Discord server, it's technically a sell up or like an upsell. You get somebody in the free Discord. Once they're in the free Discord, you start and tease them with some of the features you've got in the paid Discord. So I'm not selling anything. That's the issue here. If I was trying to upsell you on something, then I would have like this decision tree where I funnel you, say, from this being the free group, and then I'm giving you some value here to ultimately get you to buy something here. Because that's all that marketing really is. I give you something free, then I tell you, okay, pay $5, then you're gonna get this once you paid the $5, but there's something extra here. And all a business really is trying to do is it's trying to upsell you up until you buy the most expensive product. Ronald, if I might ask, like I'm not against the Discord idea, but why would you prefer a Discord? Check Nifty 50. I just want to know, like, if that is something that's in demand, or Nifty 50 almost sounds like a stripper, bro, or like a rapper. Nifty 50. Which one? Rhiziologist.
Nifty 50.
And what a name, Rhiziologist. The man with the Riz. Riz, you've got some. Which one? On the screen here, because there's quite a few. There's a TR Nifty 50 multi-cap. Just see Nifty. Okay. Oh, here's it. I think it's the Indian index, and you would not believe if I tell you how many oaks trade this thing. Not here, like India. Let's quickly see if I can. Okay, here's the Nifty. See the Nifty. There's a nice little gap here on the Nifty. Let's see. Yeah, look at this thing's gaps. If you go onto YouTube right now and you type in live day trading Nifty, Keeks, you should see the one streamer. I think he gets like almost 300,000 views in one stream.
That is crazy. I've actually like never even heard of this.
Nifty.
Yeah.
Nifty live. Let me show you guys here. Nifty.
Like to a point here, I still say like with my trading, when it came to like my pairs and all that stuff, I've been very like tunnel vision. Like I haven't like really dabbled in, if you want to say like everything.
Yeah, I think it's this guy. So he streamed 2 hours ago already, 161,000 views. Let me just take this off the screen, otherwise I'm going to get copyrighted. Bruce, so just to give you an idea, there's about 10 oaks streaming the Nifty now. And on average, they're sitting on about between 10,000 and 5,000 watching. So that's literally
actually madness.
That is literally more than the top streamer streaming NYSE. I just exited a put call gain. I don't know, should I go for a call side? Rizio, that is up to you, my friend. I don't trade Nifty. I can tell you one thing, just analyzing it real quick. I don't know how the fuck you analyze something with all of these gaps. It is bullish. It is quite far away from the daily pivot. You've basically tapped R3. So I would have said, like, if you wanted to go for some type of put call, or R3 would have been your level. But yeah, bro, this thing is bullish. It can pull back all the way here. I would say if you want to go for some type of call. But again, I don't trade Nifty. I don't have any information, fundamental information on India. Like, I don't even know what's happening in the Indian economy. The gaps represent space for improvements. Beautiful, beautiful. No, so I think that Nifty chart I had on was the cash market. So cash markets do have gaps. It's not like futures markets. For instance, this US30 is a futures market, so you wouldn't see any gaps. This was just, I don't know what, that's like a rollover gap, but technically your futures market shouldn't have gaps. Thanks, MJ. I appreciate you tuning in. Unfortunately, we couldn't take a trade. We're still stuck in this range. Gold is literally barcoding here since Asia. Nothing has happened. It's not like we don't want to trade. We obviously want to pull the trigger. Pound yen as well, going against my daily bias. Can't. I don't necessarily want to do that, so I'll still wait a little bit later for this weekly pivot. UJ as well, currently pushing bullish. Yeah, at the half round, 146.50. I'm gonna try and see if we can start turning bullish, bearish on the 80. But if we stay bullish, looking at the daily, let me just check at how the daily is currently sitting. Daily currently at this flat body resistance right here. So I almost want to say, if we get something closing above 146.53 later on in the session, we can come even up to this weekly S1 and still come down. But like I mentioned, I like to sell scenarios more than the buy. I'm going to stick with that, see how we close today. If today closes something like this bullish, fine, easy buy then for tomorrow, but I'm still going to stick with the sell scenario I've got. Pound yen as well, can't really trade anything there. Daily, how did the daily close yesterday? I really ran through it. Yeah, so bearish while we remain below yesterday's high. I do think if we can get back below the weekly pivot, we've got some nice room to move down. It's about 190 pips, 200 pips. I'm going to be on quite high alert for this. Just set alerts there. And then GBP USD, the one that I'm looking for, I'm gonna give it still, we'll extend the stream a bit. I just want to see what we do at the weekly pivot. We can still execute live here. Ronald, I'll look into it. Let me look into it. I think it is something more for retention and for the community. I think myself, Keegan, and Jay Rizzle will sit down and we'll see if we can streamline something that's not confusing. Like I've seen some of these Discord servers that have almost like 40 channels on there, and then there's no value in there. So we'll see how we can streamline it. Resiologist, in your country, can you guys take positions on live stream? We can absolutely take positions on live stream. That's why we've got a disclaimer in the description, and we also do a disclaimer before we execute. This is ultimately just me trading, you guys watching, ultimately just sharing information. Please, Chris, gold. Dude, there's nothing happening on gold. Like my buys.
Gold has done literally nothing.
That's right, yeah. As I mentioned at the start of the stream, we can potentially stay in this the entire day. Can do something like this, pop this high, fake out the breakout traders, pop these lows, and we can literally stay in this range till Friday. That is one of the things I mentioned. I don't like trading after a big up day. This for me, usually after big up days or down days, the market could range just to take like a little breather. So the ideal scenario would be it's Wednesday today, to potentially have some type of pullback today and tomorrow, and then on Friday closing something like this bullish, because that just opens up the door for bullish continuation next week. But if you've been with me, I love trading days where we have like either some type of swing low formation or some type of swing high formation. We actually called this out last week, no, it was 2 weeks ago, where I mentioned after small range days like this, you can expect a lot of volatility. And this was the Monday taking out Friday's low, closing bullish, 2 consecutive daily bullish candles. That is a confirmed support. But gold, I don't know what you want me to tell you on gold. I don't know. Gigs, is there something that you can trade on gold? It's inside the Asia range. It is a barcode.
Yeah, at this point in time, like, it's just not worth it. I mean, that's why I haven't taken a trade yet. I'm probably going to wait back. So today's trade, I think, will be quite crucial, where we can get some solid closures above the Asia high or Asia lows. Maybe like a 1 hour or 4 hour candle closure, purely because we just range it at the moment. So like Chris said, we had quite a big move yesterday. So sometimes with candles, what they can do is we can talk about that secondary movement. So we can almost have like an auto correction. So if this does break down, it can have quite a big drawdown to auto correct a little bit out of yesterday's big bullish move. Or you can have those days where this can just wick down a bit and they continue the bullish momentum. So this really just does come down to a bit of a waiting game and just like, again, reacting on what it does. So I think have your Asia high and Asia lows marked, and again, then just wait and see where the volume comes in a bit later.
Rika, I'm going to get to your question now, resiologist. Yeah, I believe it is illegal there due to the fact that you just saw how many views and how many guys are on it, and especially if you're trading a cash market. Remember, forex, futures, all of that. That's there's market makers involved. Some of it's kept in house, some of that flow goes to the liquidity provider. But in the case of, for instance, you guys in India trading the cash market, if you've got 500,000 people watching a stream, or let's say, for instance, even 30,000 people, and you call a buy in the chat, you are then able to move the market. And if you are, for instance, a streamer, you can front run it. You can enter your buys and wait a few minutes and then say, look guys, I'm going to buy. And then all of your viewers buy the market, it pushes up, and as they are buying, you are selling into that string. So remember always guys, in a cash market scenario, for every buyer there needs to be a seller and vice versa. So you are then technically front running your viewers, because as they are buying, you are slowly but surely scaling out of your position. And think about it now, let's say 70% of the volume on that instrument is coming from your stream. Now when you are already out of your position, now you're telling your guys, okay, I'm out, and now they are trying to get out of their position. So they were buying, now they need to be selling. But if nobody is, if they were buying, now they need to start selling. But if nobody's going to buy at these levels, what do you think is going to happen? They are basically going to bid against one another as price comes down. So I think that is one of the reasons why it is illegal. There were actually 2 US guys that did it on penny stocks, like low float stocks. For the guys that don't know about stock trading, there are stocks like penny stocks that have very little volume, and they would front run, they would have, say, a community of 20,000 people. And let's say pre-market, they would be buying that penny stock, and then they would alert their viewers, or basically their subscribers, like, look, I think this is a buy. Their subscribers would pump the price up, they would make the profit, and then they would literally say, okay, we're exiting. So they're trading an illiquid market. And then the subscribers, let me think, I think it was something Bull Academy or physiologist, I think that's what you were referring to. But yeah, it is a very similar with crypto as well. If you've got a big crypto community, you can pump the price as well. Yeah, it's gonna bother me what that academy was called.
Joe Riz, I've got a question there, my man. Since you're sitting there so quietly, is that because that trade of yours is in profits or not?
Yeah, I'm in profit. I'm watching it. It's very, very close to my entry, so I might get stopped at an entry point. But other than that, I'm actually waiting for one of our guests, for one of our potential guests to respond to me, so I can give him a call. I should actually go now and open the call. So I'll see you guys in the stream again tomorrow. Chris, I just need to phone this case quickly.
100%.
Perfect.
Alright guys, DXY 3 taps to session highs back inside the Asia range, coming down. GBP USD still marginally below. As I mentioned, I'm not looking for any sells. Only thing now is I would need this accumulation distribution to close above. I cannot break my rules. But as I mentioned, I'm not a seller in this market. And if it moves without my rules being met, that is completely fine. I have set those rules for a reason. Again, thank you guys for joining the stream. I really appreciate it. Got a lot of exciting things planned and coming. Friday NFP, I will post on my socials as well. Join us if you have not registered a trading account. Please support the channel by registering with the link in the description. If you are already a client, great. Also just want to thank our broker partner Vault Markets for giving us this opportunity to share and trade live with you guys. We've had very good feedback so far. I hope you guys are enjoying it. I hope you find it insightful as we share our journey. Again, as mentioned yesterday, we are not competing against one another. We are actually, in fact, competing against the market. So I really appreciate all of you being here. GBP USD, let's see, there's the break of the Asia highs above the round number. Slowly but surely our 80 is starting to creep above. It is still bullish, and what I would want to see now is some type of retest back on the half round number or even the weekly pivot. If I can get something like this, a nice little pullback back to the weekly pivot and a nice little break of structure somewhere here, I will be in there. So we're going to give it a few minutes. I'll potentially run the stream up until 11:30, 11:45. If it just runs without us, that's also fine. We will be back tomorrow, but I'm going to extend the streams a bit. I want to execute live with you guys because the value actually comes in executing the trade live and then managing it. That's where a lot of skill and experience comes in, actually reading the tape and seeing how the market moves, and also the emotion side of it. If you go into drawdown, how you manage your risk, how to deal with the psychology of being in drawdown, the psychology of being in profit, all of that is part of it. But let's see, I literally have I need to go pee, almost like a pregnant lady today. Monday to Friday, follow us on Instagram, Chris Market Bull, Keegan Van Dyke, Jamin and Hein. I don't know, Hein, did Hein retire from the streams, Geeks?
No, he's obviously just still in Grahamstown. I think he is coming back today or tomorrow, actually.
Okay, it was away, yeah. But GU, let guys see you guys now. Let's hold up the market. Alright guys, I'm back. Let's just quickly look at what's happening. They want to clean the office and I unfortunately need to vacate the office, but let's see, maybe we can draw it out a little bit. Alright guys, as mentioned, I was bullish on the day. I could not execute based on my rules. This actually closed above, weirdly enough. No, that didn't. This candle did. However, we've already displaced quite a bit away from the weekly pivot. Not too concerned. What we will do, however, is we'll create some type of session high. We're going to start pulling back before NYSE, and I will still look to continue the buys. That is the plan for the session. You can screenshot this if you want. That is the plan. Gold, obviously now breaking Asia highs. Again, we can literally just continue up from here. But I would say if we start pushing above, creating a session high during London and then pull back to Asia highs, that could be potentially a play for you. ADPs today, eh, Keeks?
GDP.
GDP, let me just see what... Oh yeah, GDP, so...
They predicted it to come out the same again, but literally the last 2 times they have done that, it's either come out higher or lower. So I think they obviously, and that contributes to inflation. So I think it will have a little bit of play with the markets.
So I can almost not guarantee you, but I can almost tell you now that before news, GU is going to be trading very close to the daily pivot. Like I've seen it over and over when there's news events. They tend to bring price back to this pivot, so not too concerned. USDs are bearish on the day, also no execution for me. Maybe a little bit later today I can look at something here, but nothing there. GJ bearish on the day. I think we actually broke yesterday's high now. Let me just check here. Oh, not yet. So also still looking for sells on GJ. I've set my alerts at 184.77.1. If we can do something where the accumulation distribution starts flipping bearish while we're at these highs or very close to these highs, I'll also consider sells. Maybe a little bit later in the session, something like this perhaps. And then look to sell close to R1. That's also a thing, but if we stay above R1, very likely we're going to continue bullish. So if this holds, UJ I am bearish as well, but again, accumulation distribution showing a lot of buying going on, not a lot of selling. So, and then US30, as mentioned, ideally some type of retracement back to the pivot. But it is another big news day, guys. So all of these charts that we've shared, analysis, can literally be evaporated in seconds, like you've seen yesterday. I've also seen it, and I just want to put this on the record, I've seen moves like this occur the previous day, and I've literally seen that entire day's moves be erased the next day. It's not impossible, so just be aware of that. But I am sticking with a bullish bias, but that can all change depending on the data. Nasdaq already making its way down, so nice pullback, but we'll see. Keeks, any closing remarks before we end the stream? I don't think Keeks is hearing us here. We're doing an analysis. Actually seems like the Zoom has frozen. Anyways, guys, we are calling it a session. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate everyone on the stream. We will see you guys tomorrow and then obviously Friday. Thanks, Chris. Have a lucky day. Thanks, Ronald. Rika, thank you for holding down the fort. One of the old faithful.